This is the Chatter Squadron Weekly News Roundup, the best source for Star Wars news in the galaxy. Chewie, get the holonet up and running again. We don't want to miss the show.
Hey, and welcome to the Weekly News Roundup.
Hey, welcome to the ASMR podcast.
No, this is no. I am Mike Calhoun. I am joined by Tyler Bucks and Johnny Trowbridge, and we are Chatter Squadron. We are your weekly dose of Star Wars fun and positivity. My microphone fell. Oh, that
How
was a good one.
serendipity of you. Serendipitous?
We've got. I mean, his rhymed, so
Yeah,
it gets
true.
points.
We have
points.
quite a lot of news to get through.
We've got some news. I don't know if it's as much as last week's.
It's about 6 stories. So strap on in for the long haul, folks.
There's going to be some stories with tons of details. There's going to be some stories with fewer details. It's very newsy.
We have 2 to start off from EA.
Yes.
It's
EA
in the
Sports.
game.
Challenge everything.
I do.
Challenge everything.
That was one. That was.
Challenge everything.
You don't remember that?
Yeah.
Or that was EA Games.
The EA games.
Well, regardless, we'll be talking about EA, specifically the EA CEO, and then the CEO of Disney named Bob Iger. We've mentioned it before. We've talked about him.
Bobiger.
Taika Waititi, he talks about the Mandalorian.
Taika
Bobiger.
Waititi.
Bobiger, is that what he said? Yeah, Bobiger. That's his full name. We just split it in half. That's his real alien name, and we split it in half just to be
Almost
more
like
earthy.
Stan Lee.
Yeah,
Stan
exactly.
Stanley.
Stanley is an alien name.
Yeah.
And it was adopted by humans.
Speaking of a kind of an alien name, no, not really.
Taika Waititi? That's an
I
alien
guess.
name.
Yeah, I guess. He speaks up about what it's like working on the set of The Mandalorian. And if you don't know, Taika Waititi is directing an episode of The Mandalorian, and he directed Thor Ragnarok. So he's kind of drawing some parallels with that.
He also co-wrote and co-produced the What We Do in the Shadows.
I need to see it.
I do
need
wanna see that.
the show that's coming out.
There's a show coming out for What We Do in the Shadows?
Yes, sir.
I want
That's
to see
what
the
I was trying to
film
get at.
first.
Yeah, well, obviously the film should be seen first. But
So-
I just wanted to excite you with
Yes,
that.
and you did.
news.
Does it have Reese Derby? Does it have Jermaine Clement?
So far, okay, it's produced
Jermaine.
by Jermaine and Taika Waititi, but as far as I can tell in the trailers, they haven't shown any of the former cast.
Oh.
But they're very funny, the trailers.
But this isn't the What We Do in the Shadows podcast. This is
That would be an
the-
interesting podcast, though.
The Star Wars podcast. Also, people have been announced for Star Wars Celebration. More people are coming.
More signing guests.
who is it?
Specifically, people that will be at the booths to sign your stuff.
I'll give you-
I'll tease one.
Oh, okay.
D. Bradley Baker, who I'm very excited to see, who was every clone in the Clone War. But also, he's Klaus Heinzler, the fish
Quickly,
from American Dad.
later we need to talk about how you tease things. Because
I just give things away.
Just saying what it was. I'll tease something for you.
It's
Darth
this.
Vader is Luke's dad.
That's a good tease.
Do you need me to
That's a
tease
good-
something for you for Empire Strikes Back? Of course, we have This Week in Star Wars History.
This week in Star Wars history.
It's an
Who are you saluting?
Star Wars.
all of the veterans of Star Wars.
Oh, okay.
It's an American pastime. Is
Yeah.
This Week in Star
where
Wars history.
We passed the time.
raise the flag of Star Wars as John Williams' theme is playing,
Yeah,
and then
you
we
don't do that.
salute
You don't do that at all the
And shed a
sporting
tear?
games.
Yes, I do. That at all the sporting games. I personally raise and lower the flag.
Good on you.
Good.
you.
You're doing your civic duty.
And then we'll be closing the show with details from the episode 9 set that have been leaked rather.
And I also reached out to our listeners as to if they are excited or will buy. If they will buy Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh,
which
yeah,
is an EA game, and we'll get to
Challenge
EA.
everything.
Yeah, I was going to say challenge everything.
We will challenge the news on them, but before that, somebody has. Got up to task
What?
with being on the tiny throne of tiny victories.
They're not here yet.
Dun 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 dun. No, that's it.
That's the only fanfare they get.
They're on.
Shall you read it or shall I?
You shall read the new King/Queen.
This comes from Cad Bane's Bounty, and the title is Destroy the presses. Your one-stop shop for Sheaves Canadian farming tips. Recommended. May the force be with you. Hey, you know what? Thanks, Cad Bane's Bounty.
Sheaves Canadian farming's pretty up to snuff, I have to say.
And also, destroy the presses. Was that it?
Yeah.
Destroy the presses. What did I say when I misspoke?
I think you were trying to say stop the presses.
Yeah, I think you wanted to say stop the presses.
You went a step further.
Yeah,
it was fire. It was supposed to be fire up the presses.
But I
it
said
was fire at those presses. Destroy them. Destroy the presses.
You can't stop the presses any more than destroying them.
Regular citizen
Fire
Kane.
at the presses.
So thank you so much. That is an amazing review. In order to get on this throne, several inside jokes with the podcast.
Exactly.
Rounding them all up.
We would prefer all of the ratings to involve inside jokes, because then it guarantees that you're a listener.
That's
how
true.
we know.
That's how we detect.
Don't just say, or you might want to. These people talk about Star Wars, and their name is Chatter Squadron. 5 stars.
And definitely don't say,
Oh, put that bone in.
Stop that.
Okay.
Don't give them ideas.
Okay. Sorry,
that bone in Calhoun?
we went back to the ASMR video.
I didn't say it. I was.
if you listen closely.
Oh, don't lip smack. Oy.
Okay, but before we get to EA,
You sound like Watto.
No, you're not.
before we get
I'm unaffected by SMR. You're a Jedi mind tricks.
Money.
Oh, only Bobby.
I don't like the
No, you're
sound
too
of
bad.
voices. I like
That was
the
a
sound
terrible
of money.
character. Who came up with that?
George Lucas.
George, that's a terrible
Well, there's
character.
this one guy, George Lucas.
Okay. Whew.
Let's talk about this.
Before this is an After Dark episode. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, it's very after dark.
There might be a little
Surely.
thing here. Who
I'm
knows?
feeling a little sick. I can hear it in my voice.
Okay, before we get to the news, I just want to give a shout out to the people at the Saber Legion Ohio Charter. You may have seen on our social medias last week that Johnny and I got a saber lesson. We met some people over there. Big thanks to Dan, who's a avid fighter in the Saber Legion, and then Brian Stone, who's the head of Two Ravens fencing school here in Cleveland. He taught us some moves.
Yeah, man. That guy knows his stuff.
He is, and if you want to learn fencing or even lightsabering, you can go there. It was a nice facility, and they really go ahead.
I was going to ask if you mentioned the name of the facility.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Two Ravens
Two
fencing
Ravens.
school. But no, so that was a good time. I can't wait to hook up with them again soon and get trounced by actual lightsaber fighters. Wouldn't
That
that
will
be
happen.
fun?
Yeah, there was about a half dozen there.
Yeah.
And Dan, who we spoke to for a moment, and he's in the pictures that we took. He said he's going to be in Columbus as we speak. As of this recording, he's in Columbus at another saber gathering. I didn't want to say convention because it's not quite a convention, but it is another gathering. And so yeah, it'd be fun to actually meet up with some people and do some sparring.
Yeah, they gather and attack each other, and we use this one of these.
Yeah, we used one of our sabers.
So big thanks to them,
Yeah.
and they are helping us or helped us get ready for the all-out brawl, which we announced last week.
Just like that.
Yeah, just like that. So go on
That's
our
ongoing.
Go on our social medias to see how that's happening, which is a bunch of fights. There's so many fights. We're looking over there right now. People are fighting.
We've posted the bracket. We've posted the first round. We'll be updating it as it goes along, as the results come in, and the results count on your votes. So vote on the Twitter page and vote on the Facebook page.
Yep.
You use
heart.
emotions, emoticon, or what is it? The reactions. You use reactions on Facebook to vote. Make sure you use the right one. If you use a reaction that doesn't pertain to the vote, then it's not going to go counted. So use the right one. Or go on Twitter and vote very simply. But it's going to be...
Same with Instagram.
Yeah. This week, we released Darth Maul versus Master Yoda.
Yep.
And then we'll continue to do the rest of the matchups. but that's the first one that we released.
Here's a Calhoun type spoiler about that fight. Yoda is winning by a lot.
That was a
Wait,
good
why?
tip. That was a good bit, a little tease.
Thank you so much. All right, let's move to the first news story, which is EA CEO provides a brief update on Jedi Fallen Order. I'm very excited about Jedi Fallen Order. This transcript came from StarWarsUnderworld.com. EA CEO Andrew Wilson gave a brief update on the game, which is Jedi Fallen Order that's coming out this year. Speaking, doesn't that look great?
Yeah,
There you go. Speaking glowingly about a recent 20-minute demo he played during the company's Q3 quarterly earnings call. How nerve-wracking must that be as a developer sitting behind the CEO playing your game?
That's a good point.
Every little thing, like he jumps and it's like, I hope we jump high enough. Or I hope we don't jump high. We might jump too high. I don't know. Do we walk too fast? Do we not walk fast enough? I'm not sure. All right, so Wilson said, it's very far along in development, and having spent time with it recently myself, it plays spectacularly well. This game truly captures the fantasy of becoming a Jedi, and we will have a lot more to share soon.
I have a feeling this is going to consume a lot of my time.
Yeah, definitely.
I've not played any games that specifically center around being a Jedi. I've never played the Force Unleashed games. I never played the Jedi Academy game. And you guys have some experience with both of those. So, what do you guys hope that will be good? That will be different in this game than those ones?
I want more than just the base. I like Force Unleashed is good about doing different force powers,
Yep.
but there's like the base ones that everyone knows.
I see.
But it'd be-
Force push, lifting stuff.
yeah. But like, you know, KOTOR introduced a bunch of new ones, Force Unleashed has like the one where he like shocks outward. That was cool.
Yeah.
And
Is the Force Unleashed mostly action, or does it have some RPG elements like upgrading and changing things?
it's a hack and slash.
Okay.
But then, of course, you can find different things. You can choose a skin to play as. You can choose a lightsaber color if you find it, that type of thing. What I'm hoping for this is I love The Force Unleashed. It might be one of my favorite Star Wars games of all time, but it is very, like you said, straight hack and slash, camera very far away, and you're just destroying hordes of people, which is great. But for this, I may kind of want it to be a little bit more, you're a little closer to the person. It's a little slower. I'm sorry, everyone's going crazy, but it's a little slower to where you actually feel each strike. Boom.
Right.
And when you take someone down, you're like, oh, I just got someone. The Force Unleashed was very much like, oh, there's a stormtrooper. Boop. All right.
Goodbye.
Yeah, goodbye.
Right.
Or
like a God of War, how close you are with that kind of.
yeah.
It's a little bit
The
closer.
more recent
closer
God of
camera.
War,
Yeah,
you
the
mean?
recent
Yeah.
God of War. Okay.
That would be pretty intense. However, once you get deep into that game, it gets to be a little bit more over the top.
Oh, does it?
On purpose.
Okay.
I mean, you're a super powerful god, so you're doing some really strong, like, smashing moves
Okay.
with your strength. I was actually going to consider a comparison to a game that didn't do well called For Honor.
Oh, yeah,
But it was built specifically around 1v1 fights and specifically sword battling. I don't really want to do that same game model. I'm just saying, when I imagine where the camera will be in comparison to where my character is, that's where I envision it.
What type did they come out with? What type of game it is? Is it an RPG?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think they've directly
Bummer.
brought it out, but they are saying that we're expecting to have a major showcase in April for Star Wars Celebration.
It's going to be very exciting.
Hey,
That's
we'll be
something
there.
we're going to definitely drop in on.
Yeah,
and,
we're gonna go to that.
and see
Drop in on.
Yeah.
We do have the
that
lines.
specifically. Yeah, we're gonna drop in like Tom Cruise, dude.
if you see this Andrew Wilson speaking, be paying close attention to us in the background,
Zipping
ejecting the disc from the Xbox
Get me out.
I've got the asset. That would be great, actually. I think we should stage something like that.
Is this coming out on PC?
That's a fair point. They haven't talked
I
about
hope
it.
so.
I think they're being as hush-hush about it because they're just going to unload everything at Star Wars Celebration.
It has been
probably.
announced for Game Boy Color.
Good.
And the Betamax.
And the Betamax.
Believe it or
Not,
not.
which isn't a video game system, but it will be playable on it.
Yeah. Somehow. They'll find a
Sorry,
way.
They'll put
wasn't-
it on beta anyway.
Laserdisc.
They're just gonna take all the cutscenes and put it on beta.
19 tapes.
Did you know apparently EA is on good terms with Disney?
I didn't know that until my good friend Bobiger told me.
Bobiger said that?
Yeah, I called him up and he's like, "Look, I'm about to have a conference call.
Look, my name
and
is
we're about to
Bobiger.
talk about it."
Listen, it's
But
unfortunate.
let me tell you personally,
So in a recent earnings call with reported,
Verizon?
yeah, on
Can you hear me
Verizon.
now, it's Bobiger.
Hey, it's Bobiger.
Hey, Verizon, can you put me through? Bobiger said that Disney is good at a lot of things like making movies, television. This isn't how Bob Iger sounds.
Are you reading his quote? Because I feel like if we're gonna read his quote, we should read the quote and not summarize the quote.
No. This.
Oh, okay, you're
Yeah,
doing
this
this.
is
Okay.
a quote from him that he said they're good at making movies and television shows and theme parks and cruise ships. But he spoke on that they haven't been the best in terms of gaming. They do a lot of stuff, but video games they haven't really put the market on. And this is what he says: over the years, as you know, Johnny, he said that, we've tried our hand at self-publishing. We've bought companies, we've sold companies, we've bought developers, we've closed developers, Bobiger said. And we've found over the years we haven't been particularly good at self-publishing.
Kingdom Hearts?
But we've been great at the licensing side, which obviously doesn't require that much allocation of capital. I
What a
believe
great way to say we don't have to spend as much money if we don't have our own studio.
We'll just buy them, sell them,
Yeah.
You know how
close
it
them,
goes.
Close them.
set them on fire.
Whatever we want, really.
I mean, I like his bluntness. He's
Yeah.
talking like he's talking to his investors. Like, hey, we ain't doing so hot with making our own games,
My
but
name's Bobiger.
we're doing better if we just sell the license.
What can
to
I
Square.
say? It's Bobiger. Hey, Verizon. This is loud. All right. Okay, so this is what he specifically said about EA. We've had good relationships with some of those we're licensing to, notably EA and the relationship on the Star Wars properties, and we're reportedly, oh my gosh, we're probably going to stay on that side of the business and put our capital elsewhere. I'm sorry that I stumbled through that, but what he's basically saying is, once again, Bob likes to do this thing where he quickly says something that's kind of big news, like how he said June is when Anaheim is opening for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. But that was the thing. He's like, we've had good relationships. EA, we have a good relationship with. And I feel like if anybody was to say we're having big issues, it would be Bobiger, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. In an earnings call or an earnings call, conference call, I don't think he's going to say EA is dropping the ball or anything like that, especially when they're about to have a celebration where they're going to have a huge announcement. He's not going to try and undercut them. But also, let's be honest, EA and Star Wars are still making money.
Yes,
They're
they
still
are.
making money with Battlefront. They've kind of turned it around on the whole loot box fiasco. They made the best of a bad situation in a couple cases. And here's also something I want to bring up. When it comes to just gamers and gaming gripes and catastrophizing when it comes to games, today I saw a sale for PlayStation.
Yep.
PlayStation said we're doing a new sale. You get up to 80% off. Follow the link. I go to the link. I see all the games that they have listed. Nothing very interesting, but sure, some stuff that was interesting for others. I'm sure. But in the comments section, it was just filled with people that were unsatisfied because the game that they wanted wasn't discounted. And that's the sort of thing that happens with literally anything that just unsatisfies the gaming community. So it's like, this isn't as satisfying as it could be, and let me tell you how it would have satisfied me perfectly.
Maybe if it was free and it was the perfect game, maybe then I'd be satisfied.
Right, exactly. So my question to you guys is, how do you guys feel about how EA and Disney are doing in contrast to what the public thinks about EA and Disney?
I mean, Battlefront's an okay game. I played it for a while, and it's okay. I wouldn't say that it's so bad that EA will never recover kind of thing, because that's not true. I mean, and we'll have to wait and see, because I mean, literally, how many titles have they put out? The two biggest ones are both Battlefront, so it's like
right.
That's my biggest thing is the issue that they're the only people covering it, thus only having 2 games and then soon to be 3 at this point, as opposed to a lot more gaming content that could be coming about. But there is also a thing that I think people look over a lot, which is telling these stories and a new canon being brought in that we have right now. It's probably not very easy to say, oh, hey, we want to make a game and it's going to be this. No, we already have 5 books about that.
You're right. That's a new obstacle that no matter what studio does it, they have to jump through a lot of hoops to make sure it's not like encroaching on the storytelling of other people. That's a very good point. I never thought of that.
But I believe you put this in here, the petition.
Yes, there was a petition to have EA's partnership with Disney revoked, and it reached over 200,000 signatures, which is no small number. But it's also not going to move anything. It's not going to make any. It's not going to influence anybody.
Right.
Not when they can sell 5 million units of something. Like 200,000 signatures on a piece of paper, on a digital document is nothing.
Would we like to move on to the next story?
Let's talk about it.
Taika Waititi. He's comparing working on Star Wars to working on a Marvel movie. Would you like to read what Taika Waititi said?
He says, Star Wars is very different to Marvel style. They know that the tone of the first films really should be kind of adhered to, or I'm sorry, I'm reading this poorly. They know that the tone of the first films really should be kind of adhered to. That's what the fans like, and they can't really disrespect it. I guess it's a nicer way of saying you can't put too many jokes in it. There's a bit, definitely my tone is in there, the dialogue and the stuff like that. Oh, there's a bit. He's talking about the humor.
Yes.
He also spoke a bit about what it's like to be on the set, specifically what it's like working with stormtroopers. He said, it was every kid's dream just to see a stormtrooper. When you're doing these scenes with 50 or 60 of them, it's pretty amazing. I loved it.
So that quote right there gives us more of a story element that we haven't had before, which is there's 50 or 60 stormtroopers in a scene, which we don't know what's going on in the universe. We know that it's between The Force Awakens and Return of the Jedi, and the Empire is falling apart at this point. So who knows what's happening? But apparently there's a bunch of stormtroopers around at the time of this.
It could also just be like, I mean, if they're shooting on multiple sound stages that day, sure, there's 60 stormtroopers, but there's only like 10 in this scene or 25. I mean, but also it's not entirely rare to see 50 or 60 stormtroopers at a time in a Star Wars movie.
I know, but my point is we don't know where this is falling, like this story of The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
How much it's going to touch on the main things that we know of, being the Empire and the Rebellion and whatever else. So I guess if him saying that there's stormtroopers in it, even though we've seen some pictures, there's apparently a lot, and that might be a big focal point of the show, is something that has to do with the Empire.
Right.
I like it.
I'm just imagining a Taika Waititi style Star Wars show where it's just like absolutely hilarious. It's just like a Flight of the Conchords kind of style.
Comes in.
Jermaine Clement and all those.
Yeah, it comes in.
Oh, yeah. That would be great.
Flight of the Concord. I mean, they could do it. That has nothing to do with anything in Star Wars. It's two magicians. Two magicians move to Coruscant, and they're just struggling to make ends meet and have shows. And they have one fan.
I like it.
And they have a manager.
That's what I'm saying. Like, just a show about a couple guys living on Coruscant in some weird underground, like they have some weird interest. It's possible.
A magician or something.
Sure, a magician.
Yeah.
It's
Or
on the tip of my
smugglers.
tongue, like a magician.
But no, that's interesting, and I'm excited to see his specific episode.
Is anyone surprised that working on a modern Star Wars film feels like working on a modern Marvel film? I'm not surprised. I feel like they're the one and the same when it comes to filming, not style, but what process.
Mm-hmm.
If you're working for Disney and you have Jon Favreau down the road, like, oh, the guy who built Marvel,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Marvel
that's pretty crazy.
Studios.
But the thing is,
Iron
he
Man?
said Star Wars is very different to the Marvel style.
But he said it's also very similar. He said at the beginning of the quote, and then he said, "Yeah, it's got a different style where, yeah, you can't put as. They're just telling me I can't put as many jokes in it, but it feels like similar."
That's such a funny thing for someone who writes so many comedies to be
Right.
like, yeah, it's heavy, it's really hard, it's a rough production. Can't put jokes.
I can't. Yeah, I just can't put jokes everywhere I want to put
a
jokes.
bunch of jokes.
Imagine if we were limited to the number of jokes.
Oh, we would die.
It wouldn't happen.
Sounds
We'd be like a shark that stopped swimming.
Exactly.
oh, because of the wow.
I was gonna say he didn't get it.
Oh,
He didn't
man.
get it. He didn't watch National
I
Geographic.
was homeschooled. I'm sorry. I
That
didn't.
means you'd only watch more.
I didn't know sharks
I know,
existed.
right?
I didn't know sharks existed until I was 19.
Oh,
Whoa.
well,
Yeah.
that's okay.
Then you
I
went
thought
to the
they were
ocean.
like weird demons.
Weird.
Anything
Sea
underwater
demons.
is a weird demon, if you ask me.
That's a good opinion.
More guests are coming to Star Wars Celebration, and
Let me read them off for you.
Okay,
all right,
let's
here
do
we
this.
go. Donald Faison,
woo, Scrubs.
Jason Isaacs,
Yeah, the voice of stuff.
the Grand Inquisitor from Star Wars Rebels, Vanessa Marshall,
Voice of Hera from Rebels.
yep, Myrna Velasco,
Tara Doza in Star Wars Resistance.
Toradoza, but yes, Michael Pennington,
Moff Gerard in the Return of the Jedi.
we
I'm
shall
sorry.
double our efforts.
Oh.
Tom Kane,
Double that. Him.
an actor from the Clone Wars who played narrator and the start of, and also played Master Yoda.
Wait a second. Tom Kane was the dude that was like,
Yeah. The rebels are surrounded, and then I'm going to be talking like Master Yoda.
that we ripped off
We tried
in
to.
our old episode.
Yes, in our first season, and you can watch them all on YouTube right now if you wanted to. You can watch Chatter Squadron Season 1. Next one is Catherine Tabor, the actor behind Padme Amidala in Star Wars The Clone Wars. Next is D. Bradley Baker.
This guy's waiting in line.
Who gave life to an army of clones in the Star Wars The Clone Wars, and is also Klaus Heisler from American Dad. And Tamara Morrison. Is it
Yes.
Tamara, right? Tamara.
Tomorrow, I thought it was tomorrow.
Tamora Morrison.
Tamara with an O, but he spelled with a U.
He's just a simple
Tamora?
man trying to make his way in the galaxy.
Just a simple man trying to
That
make his
guy,
way.
That's who that
he's
guy-
just a simple man.
Yeah, he's just a simple man. We were talking. I'm sorry, I have to bring this up. We were talking before we recorded about that line. I'm just a simple man trying to make my way in the galaxy. When he says that to Obi-Wan Kenobi in Attack of the Clones, when they're like 2 meters away from like thousands of clones of him. I'm just a simple guy with hundreds and thousands of children in the next room, and
Well-
then one I picked.
Well, I think definitely what they were trying to go for is that he's obviously lying.
Yeah.
And-
he was just trying to.
But they
Lie.
They
He's
played
trying
it up.
to save face.
They
Like, he-
played it up like Obi-Wan discovered that there's something fishy going on here. He's like, he goes out and he's like, hey guys, I think there's something going on here. Obviously.
Yeah, that they didn't handle it well because obviously they should have gone with Obi-Wan goes in the room and then meets Django is like, "Oh, you're the bad person," and then that's all he needed because the signs were very evident.
And
It was
especially
very
because
clear.
Boba took like 18 minutes to close the door to his armor.
Yes,
That he doesn't. Okay, Jango Fett, who probably got a huge paycheck, just puts his armor on the ground.
The ground is just right there.
On the ground. He doesn't have a sweet like.
Batcave styles.
I was gonna say like a case.
Oh, that
he
would've
was
been
about
so
to
cool.
leave, so wouldn't he put it in like a foam case, or he would have it like on a mannequin,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like waiting for him whatever.
This week in Star Wars history.
Oh, I wanted to really quick. I'm sorry. Well, to
Even
rewind,
on the bed.
we glossed over
with rose
he-
petals.
Oh, no. Jason Isaacs, who we glossed over, who is the Grand Inquisitor in Star Wars
yeah, yeah,
Rebels.
yeah.
He's also a prominent actor.
He is.
But he was in The Patriot. He was the British.
Oh, the
he-
evil.
Yeah, the British guy that was burning people
He's
alive.
in that Edgar Wright film, Hot Fuzz.
Yes, he is.
He's the villain.
Yes, he's an extremely good actor. Classically trained.
He was James
English
Bond.
actor. He was not James Bond.
What?
He was not James Bond. He may have
Dang
been
it.
in a James Bond movie, but he was not James Bond.
Dang it! I thought
He did once watch a James Bond
He
movie.
watched James Bond with me last week,
Oh,
and I didn't get an interview with him because I forgot.
dang it!
What's this week in Star Wars history?
February 5th, 2013, Lucasfilm announces a new standalone films that will expand the mythos and depths of Star Wars, the Star Wars universe in previously unexplored ways. So that's when they said, "Hey, we're making side movies," which was a big thing. That was a like, wait, what? What are they gonna do? Side movies? Oh, they're making a Boba Fett film. That was the first thing I heard.
That's all people think of for some reason when they think of side movies, side characters. The only one that comes to mind, Boba Fett.
Speaking of movies, February 6th, 2009, Fanboys, a comedy homage to Star Wars, opens in select theaters across the U.S. Have you guys seen,
haven't seen Fanboys.
I've never seen Fanboys, but
it's pretty funny.
I've heard it's very funny.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
I go that far.
I'll put it as
So
if
it's not like a okay. So is it or is it not as funny as Grandma's Boy?
you haven't watched Grandma's Boy.
Okay, never mind.
It's
I
similar
consider them similar.
similar in tone to Hot Rod in a way.
Okay.
With kind of like a similar amount of heart. The premise of Fanboys is these friends back in the 90s who love Star Wars. Their one friend gets diagnosed with cancer and he's going to die before he can see episode 1. So it's a movie of them driving cross country to get to Skywalker Ranch to steal a copy
Unreleased copy.
of episode 1 in order to watch it. And it is really
I'm
good.
guessing it was
That's fun.
anticlimactic.
And the end is I laughed maybe the hardest out of any movie ever. So you should probably watch Fanboys. I have it. I'll let you borrow it.
Okay.
We'll let all of you borrow it.
Yeah, you guys too. February 8th, 1932, composer John Williams is born.
1932.
Yes.
It's
That's
his
when
birthday today.
That's when John
As of
Williams
this recording.
sailed the ocean blue.
February 1932. John Williams sailed the
Williams.
ocean blue.
February 10th, 2012, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. 3D hits the theaters.
3 dimensions.
3 dimension.
Wouldn't it be crazy if
Just like Spy Kids.
if we saw things in 3D like all the time?
I wish that was the world we lived in.
Wasn't that
If only.
a good idea?
One day.
Recapping us at the end here is details from episode 9 set are revealed. So this is from makingstarwars.net. I just wanted to kind of go over this quickly.
Making Star Wars with that clutch
Seriously.
behind the scenes.
I don't know how the heck they have like
Binoculars
ninjas or something.
and a smartphone. You just hold the binoculars up
Up to the smartphone, yeah.
and instantly you have 1,000 times more pixel resolution.
Are you serious?
Did you guys know this?
No.
I
Yeah.
did know
it's
it a little.
It's how science works.
Okay, so this is straight from one of their recent articles. We've also seen a rebel hero who we believe is Naomi Aki's character with a bow. We can't say it fires lasers because we haven't seen it in action. We've also seen a helmeted character that we think is a woman and could be Carrie Russell's character, but we can't say for certain at this moment with any certainty. So they're very not certain. But here's why I wanted to bring this up really quick.
Okay.
The bow.
Bowcaster.
I was going to say, if she's wearing a bow, we already know she's a girl. I mean, it's pretty sexist for them to just put a bow on it.
Yeah.
That's weird.
It's like Minnie Mouse.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I thought you meant the trend of women doing archery, but yes, also that they're wearing a bow.
No, I was being purposefully obtuse. And Tyler is, I like that you went along with that, though. You think that there's some sort of sexist problem with bows and arrows?
Well, no, I just see that mostly recently women are doing archery.
You know what? You're right.
No, it is true. And then even in the Clone Wars, the Night Sisters,
They have bows and
have
arrows.
light bows.
Can I see one woman with a sword? For goodness sakes.
No,
Wonder
Johnny,
Woman. Wonder Woman.
Johnny,
There we go.
Johnny, don't say that.
You can't say the naughty words of women and sword.
Okay, sorry.
You can't say the S word.
Sorry.
Sword, get it?
Goodness.
I don't get it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Oh. I put out a question to you guys.
There's a
Should probably
bow
get
on
to that.
episode 9, though. I mean, maybe she's going to be the one that takes out all those hordes and hordes of stormtroopers.
I bet you it's going to be like a Wookiee bowcaster.
Here's the thing
Maybe.
about bows in Star Wars. It has to be like insanely good at doing something, or else there's no reason to have a bow.
I agree.
Exactly.
I think Chewbacca's bowcaster is dumb, and it only is made cool by the fact that he's a huge hairy monster.
Yeah.
You know, like he's a big hairy guy, so you're like, I love Chewbacca, and then it doesn't matter what weapon he's got. You're just
It's
like,
only-
all right, cool.
I'm sorry. It's only made cool because he's a big hairy monster.
I mean, it's kind of true.
Yeah.
It is like my least favorite gun in most of the games that it's in.
Oh,
Because
the bowcaster,
the thing that it's like shoots one bolt, but if you charge it, it shoots 5. I'm like, why can't it just shoot faster?
Wow, none of those things improve the thing I want it to do.
Yeah.
All right. I asked people, will they buy Jedi Fallen Order when it comes out? And I'm skipping by a lot of these answers if you want to go to the Instagram.
I do.
On the Star Wars Hub, a lot of people do not like EA, which I understand, but I would like to cover different stuff. Leonardo Monti Core says, "I'll wait to see, but at the same time, I'm pretty excited about a new single-player Star Wars game," which is true.
I like
Very
this
true.
comment from Jonah Benjamin. I've been waiting for this game for 2 years. Of course I'm buying it. I'm freaking pre-ordering the dang thing. Well, I may be with you. And depending on what we see at Star Wars Celebration, we could be blown away.
Yeah.
Benny Ong says, cautiously optimistic. Stig Asmussen is leading the project, and he worked on the 3 God of Wars before PS4.
Wow.
He's a good guy, so I really want to give him a chance.
Nice.
Okay, cool.
We were bringing up God of War.
Cool.
Yeah.
True, we did bring that up.
Joe Kem Wajima says it's the first game I'm really excited for. So yes, I will buy it. The first game ever.
I love that.
I mean, either you're a young guy or you haven't been excited for a game ever, and this is really exciting.
Wow.
Daniel Mann says, I'm waiting till we get some footage. I understand that completely.
Yeah.
We know nothing about this game other than a short description and then some footage of people doing motion capture.
And the
That is new.
CEO said the 20 minutes he played was great.
Right.
Yeah, but he
Hey man, I
probably
played
has
20
to say
minutes and
that.
it was great.
Yeah.
Um,
What if it's like, it's trash?
I've got another one from
Tobager.
Taurus Brusque 1165. They say the more important question is, will it not get canceled? Darn you, EA!
No.
It won't get canceled.
won't.
Hopefully.
We're very
it won't get canceled. Anyway, let's wrap
He
up the
knocks
show.
on wood.
Dylan Vadermark says, I'll buy anything Star Wars. That's what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
that's the general feeling. that I feel.
Let's
most
see.
Times.
I'll do a couple. I'll do a couple more.
I got more, but yeah. I want to hear.
Here, how about this one? John Anthony Fazio. I have little hope for it.
Oh,
Well, hope is not lost yet. That is just the band that plays our opening songs.
that's right.
How about
Hope-
this one from
hope
Catman
dies.
Joe 90 doing his best Boba Fett impression? He says, "Yep."
Yep.
Yes, my favorite Boba Fett line of all time.
Yep.
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 And let's see. And then on our Facebook, Daniel Sotir says, yes. Oh.
Nice.
I've got one last one here from JS. Well, let's see, JS Wagalaga Ding Dong.
Nice.
That's
That's a
his
good
real
name.
He says it's not going to be on Switch. Why, EA? I didn't know it's been announced for specific consoles, but if it's not going to be on Switch, that's a shame.
Better be
I'm
on
with
PC.
Shamalama Ding Dong over there.
JS Shamalama Ding Dong.
Here's a little teaser. I'm going
Is it a
to-
Mike Calhoun teaser where you're just going to say what it is?
Yeah.
Sort of. This is from Joshua Witzeman, who knows a lot about Star Wars merch, who might be helping us out on a future episode. And I'll close with this. He says, I bought an Xbox primarily so I could get in on more Star Wars games. And while I do love everything they're doing with Battlefront 2, I have been disappointed in the number of games put out recently. So I'm dying for more Star Wars games, and we'll be getting this one on day one.
Brilliant.
Very well put, Joshua. That's why we might be working with you soon.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, eyebrow raise.
That's it.
Ah.
We're doomed.